Hey everyone, in today's lesson we will take a look how can we create this logo animation. The effect is pretty simple, so let's have a look. So here's the setup, and here I have a grid. I have UVs applied on it, and a texture of random logo. In my case, it's LinkedIn logo. Hope that is not a problem. And then I simply, if I turn on our images, so by using the clip node, I simply split it into each letter, so I could kind of call them for each loop individually. I can create some more pieces, like I can split each letter into additional pieces, but the goal was to apply effect on each letter. Okay, so here I have a final look of the prepared logo. So there is two effects that is combined together. The first one is the mesh, distorted mesh, and distorted lines. Okay. So what I'm doing here, so here we have a letter, let's say a piece, and I'm meshing it, and then I'm applying noise with some animation. Okay. And by playing with this element size, we have this kind of a jittery effect. Okay. So you can make it smaller, or kind of extend the keys, so you could have a more smooth animation. Okay, and then we are using a blend shape with keys, and we're transforming from the distorted mesh to a original plane. Okay, and then there's some scale animation, so it kind of appear from nothing into our piece. Okay, and this way we have this kind of animation. And if I switch off, okay, and here we're using a time shift with meta node that has some attribute like iteration, non-iterations, that we can use to offset our animation. And I'm using this node here and detail function to kind of offset my animation a little bit. This way we're getting this type of animation. Okay, so next, this one is the same, as you see, but the only difference is that we have our scale like up until 1, from 0 to 1, and then back to 0. So we want our lines to disappear in the end by revealing our logo. So then I'm converting the geometry. So here we have our geometry and converting its two lines. Okay. And we have this small geometry that we would like to get rid of or delete at certain point. So here I'm using a measure, and I'm using perimeter, and I'm applying an if condition. So if our perimeter is smaller than this value, then please remove geometry. This way we are removing our lines. Okay. And also I'd like to have spheres on each end of the line. So I'm promoting rest length and perimeter in case I need this rest length, but mostly I need the perimeter attribute. Okay, and then I'm applying a noise to have some normals. Okay, and then there is a p-scale function which is randomizing the scale of the points. Okay, and here we're using the same expression to remove our points. So here I'm copying spheres onto these points, and if I play it, so this is what we see. And here is the final result. Okay, and the last thing that we would like to render the final result. So here I'm using the trail node and computing velocity, and and separating each of the effects. In this case, starting with layers, lines, and dots, and then here I'm using some basic materials, nothing special. So here I'm using the texture that we need of the logo, and here simple color for the dots and lines. Okay, and camera lights, and here I'm simply okay, since I'm having a lot of motion blur, and I would like to have it, but just a little, so I could see what's going on. And this way I simply reduced it in here, and yeah, so I have my camera and animate logo. So if I, for example, just lock this one and just put it back to 1. So you see what a mess we have. So I'll undo that once again. All right. So somewhere like this, and yes, this is about it. Then simply render and tweak it in post if we need it. So yeah, this is all I'd like to share. Hope you liked the lesson, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the future lessons. Goodbye.